life, I sometimes say, is very short. And you and I talk about this a lot, Claudine, every day, just every day.
We do.
Yeah, every day nourish your dream. Nourish your dream. Hi, welcome to We're Open, the podcast. My name's Alicia Power, and I and my dear friend Claudine Silman jump on this podcast and we discuss all things spirit. We answer your questions, so we're very happy if you want to dive down to the comments below and leave your question for us. And today we've got some great questions. So I'm going to bring in Claudine. Thanks for being here with us.
Hi,
Hello,
Alicia.
Claudine. Hello.
Happy Monday to you.
Hey, welcome, welcome. Welcome again to this wonderful conversation, We're Open. I'm really, really excited that we get to drill into some of these powerful questions that our audience sends in, because the world of spirit is something that all of us are intrigued by, I think. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
And yes, and everyone's got so many important, very, very good questions for us. And just very quickly, I've been a spiritual teacher for over 40 years and a spiritual intuitive where I work with the worlds of spirit for 30 years. And as you know, and I just want to say so that our audience understands that there's a ton of information to be delivered to all of you who are watching this about everyday situations, and also those deep niggles deep inside our heart, deep inside our being, our soul longings, just everything spirit. So, Claudine,
Okay.
how have you been? How have you been in the last week or so?
Really well. Yes, I've been well. You and I are both in lockdown at the moment.
Yes.
So yes, I've been very good. Looking forward to our topic today.
Let's have it.
Okay, so we have a really good question. How can one get help from one's spiritual guide regarding financial prosperity?
Wow, what an incredible question, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this one's going to lead into manifestation techniques and tools that we can use.
Wonderful. Excellent. And what the sort of unusual element of that question is, how do I work with my spirit guide to bring forth prosperity? And so just because that's an unusual little thing there, because most people really, they see it on their own shoulders. It's like, okay, it's me. I'm in this life. I've got to generate prosperity. I want ease in my life. I want joy and happiness in my life. I want abundance and resources in my life so that I feel free to express myself, free to enjoy myself. So this is that's the feeling and the thought of most people. And here in this podcast, there's an interesting little element, which is that I've talked to the worlds of spirit clearly two-way every day for 30 years, for well over 30 years. So that's an extra little element. It's like, oh, so we're not alone and we're in this life and we rumble along and truck along in our life and there's extra help. So that's something that we can talk about a little bit today, that extra help with generating prosperity. But why don't we start off with this whole thing of generating prosperity? Like, when this is not a marketing seminar, this is not a, we're not going to get into how to create a business in this podcast. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the subtle nuances, the energetics of life, the way we can magnetize prosperity. So the subtler element of generating prosperity, rather than, hey, let's go to a prosperity or a marketing seminar or a business seminar and learn how to generate a business to generate prosperity. That's not what this podcast is going to be about. This one's a little bit more about maybe a little bit of mindset, but not even that. I think it's more in that spiritual vein, or the worlds of spirit, or the quantum energy element that we can bring in, and some of the magic that can happen a little bit with us matching this person asking this question, matching, and all of us listening to this, matching energies with the energy of prosperity. And some of you, just really quickly, some of you watching this, might go, oh God, it's all fluffy and it's going to be just vague. But I think you and I, Claudine, can talk a little bit about that it's not vague, that it's actually, there is an element of personal magnetism. There's an element of personal, certainly mindset, but we can tweak our energies so that we power forward into a different landscape almost of energy, so that we start, like a train. We talk about train on rails sometimes, don't we? Just jumping on a certain pair of rails that actually take us into almost like a force field of prosperity. So all of you watching this, I want you, and listening to this, I want you to be aware that that's what we're going to be talking about. Going from A to B, going from like a platform of energy to another platform of energy. So that's going to be the topic today, then the conversation today. And some of you might think, well, that's not enough detail. We'll get into the detail. Claudine has run her own businesses. I run a business. We understand the detail of business and generating prosperity from that end, but we're going to go a little bit more subtle into the quantum soup.
Yes, which can make it so much more powerful and speed up the process. And knowing we have those spiritual tools, and I think it's starting off being crystal clear on what we're wanting with this question is about the financial prosperity. So maybe diving deeper into, it's obviously to do with financial money, but maybe looking at the why of why do we want more money? What are the feelings behind that we're wanting it to result in?
Oh, that's so interesting. Let's just pause on that, because what you're describing is the springboard, is the base vibration.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like piloting a sailing boat or something. You know, it's where's the wind coming from in the sails, which direction, and so swinging the boat around to catch the most powerful zephyr. Do you know that I've only recently in the last few years sort of understood this term zephyr? Everybody's going to go groan, Alicia. Everybody knows this, but it's the winds that flow across the surface of the ocean. They're called zephyrs. And
right. Look, I didn't know that. So there you go. No.
So to catch the right zephyr, to catch the right gust of wind and flow of wind. And look, you know, really good sailors. My husband's a inveterate sailor. He just loves it. And they talk about really understanding the currents, but also the wind currents, and you know, what time of the year and which particular trade wind's blowing. You know, they have to be on top of that to successfully sail the great wide oceans, you know, and get from A to B. And isn't it a little bit like that with life? I mean, we have to be very, very smart about where our wind gust is coming from and having that sail up to catch it. And what you've just described is the why. Because if you don't come to a screeching halt, drop and take your attention away from everything on the outside of you and put it back in on the inside of you, and take the time to ask yourself the question, but then feel into deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper the why. Why?
Yes.
Do you want to just talk a little bit more about the why, Claudine?
Because I think we're so used to putting out there what we'd like, whether it be money, a house, a car, but it's to go deeper, I think. So it's more powerful, and we can manifest. It's the lifestyle that we're actually aiming for, I believe, the feelings that go with being financially prosperous. So if we can look at the why and dive deeper into it instead of just the surface level, we can create a life that is going to be sustainable, and it's something we want for life. Because sometimes it's easy to manifest smaller things, and sure, we will receive those, we can get those, but they can be short-lived, and then we may not be able to manifest further. But getting deeper with it, because we want it to become our lifestyle.
And also I want to just very, very gently point at what you're just talking about there and just unpack it a little bit, because what's made me, my work as a spiritual intuitive and as a spiritual teacher is quote unquote successful because that term, I'm mission driven, right?
Yes.
I am mission driven, and doesn't matter what anyone says, I'll still be doing what I do because it's not about anyone else's opinion. It's about, and you know this too, it's about finding that why, and it's about finding, and it's not a logical thought. It's a, it's a drive. It's a drive. And that is what makes businesses sustainable. That's what makes any, you know, that where you grab an opportunity or you create an opportunity or you move towards something that you're wanting in your life, whether it succeeds or not, really rests on the level of your drive. And again, you can certainly do brainstorming and coming up with the logical reasons, but I'm going to say, how about finding reasons that aren't really logical, but they are so deep and are anchored in your soul and are anchored in the deepest part of you, in the deepest part of your heart.
Yeah.
And then,
that's where
and then have the courage to, I'm really putting this out there for everybody watching this and listening to this, and then have the courage to step on that bicycle, which turns into a Ferrari, because you never get off. You never get out of that Ferrari. It's the mission-driven energy never leaves you in the middle of the night when you wake up, when you're with your buddies having a cocktail at a club, or you're with your friends, or you're playing tennis. That mission is still in you. It doesn't go on holiday because it's so deep. And so that taking a pause moment and finding that, drilling down into that. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm really encouraging everybody to do this, because that's where prosperity comes in. I'm really serious. Even if you need to get employed by someone else and do something for a period of time that is not in alignment with your deep soul longing, but your reason to do it is in alignment. And so you go generate that pay packet, generate that income for yourself in order for you to do something that really does open your heart, and really does, even if it's volunteering, even if it's making a difference somewhere in your neighborhood where you know that you're contributing and it's giving your soul joy. So I just want to say prosperity. The other quick little thing is that the definition of prosperity is so many things to so many people. I sometimes think about when sometimes I'm watching a documentary on photographers and filmmakers that are going into, say, India and into villages, and the little children are rolling old tires and their eyes are so full of joy and they're so full of sort of being carefree and happiness. And they have absolutely nothing. So I'm just saying that the idea of prosperity is different things to different people. And so many so-called prosperous people, there's this bit of a kickback happening in the online IT community where people are letting go of their jobs and going and living in nature because they've spent decades with their attention in a computer, and they're feeling that there's something very wrong with that. Their whole being wants to just look at nature and be in the sunshine and just feel a completely different life. And to them, that's prosperity, but that's not generating income necessarily. To them, that's the love of God presence in nature, maybe, that to them, that's prosperity. So I'm just quickly reframing what some people's idea of prosperity is. People get to the top of their dreams and realize that it hasn't really fulfilled their longing in their heart at all.
You
know, they are billionaires are not happy. There are so many stories of that. So it's not always money. And I think I'm just wanting to just circle right back to what I was saying, that in the middle of the night, my mission is still connected to me. I'm still mission driven in the middle of anything. And to me personally, that's my prosperity, I guess, which is that, oh my gosh, I'm running a race to the very last breath, right? That is a mission. That's, I think, prosperity. And it's irrespective of where I am and, you know, what kind of accoutrements I have around me.
Yeah,
anyway,
it always stems back to your passion and purpose.
Just saying, you know, is this package of prosperity, what is it? Hey, I just want to quickly say, Claudine, and because I've just got a couple of these thoughts in my mind, and just very quickly, a lot of people watching this will go, yeah, that's all very good, but I can't pay my rent, or I can't pay my utility bill. And I'm in terror around that. You know, there's just, my world is falling apart, sort of, because I just don't have the basic means to maintain those basics. So, and they're listening to this going, how can I, you know, is there anyone out there that can help me? And so the whole thing of asking a spirit guide to help to create prosperity, I just want to say that I see you guys. I know that you're watching this as well, and that many, many people are in that situation. And I want to say that Claudine and I will have a conversation about, and this is for you as well, all of you guys watching this that are in that situation, to really quite seriously look, and we're going to talk about this, about at energy and your inner state. And to whatever it takes, because it doesn't take money to change your inner state. And I want to say that even most quantum physicists now know that this physical life is, you could almost say, a quantum hologram. It's kind of like a dream, and one day it'll be over. The reason these quantum physicists know this, they've known this for 50 years. Quantum science has known that this is true, that everything is based on energy. Okay, so this is not an unusual thought. This is public knowledge. And so just wanting to say that this is not woo-woo what we're talking about. We're talking about when you shift energy, you do attract to yourself different opportunities. It's almost like there's a movie screen, and when you tune the lens and change the aperture of the lens to tight to open, a different kind of movie starts showing up on your movie screen. This is not something that is, again, woo-woo. It works. It makes total logical sense from a quantum physics science point of view. And so Claudine and I, want to kind of like really rattle the cage and really amplify this message that your inner state is important. So if you're in terror, if you're in fear that you can't meet your utility bill, one of the fastest ways to shift your state is to lie down on your bed and ask your spirit guides to come and start vacuuming out your fear energy.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And it doesn't cost $1. Just lie down on your bed, call in your spirit guides. Everybody has spirit guides around them. Everyone has teams of spirit guides around them. There are different types of spirit guides. Some are helping your soul make choices. Others are healing type spirit guides, just letting you know. And when you lie down on your bed, you ask for the healing spirit guides to come, because these are technician guides, and they come in and they see your energy force field. They come in and see your energy matrix. They see it. That's what they see. They might not see your face, and if you've got makeup on, but they can see your energy matrix, and they go in as technicians. It's like an electrical circuit board, and they'll go in and they'll vacuum out the fear wiring. They'll just pull it out. And if you make that a regular thing, listen, I've been an energy healer for 30 years. I've watched them do this. I watch them. And so I'm just saying that this works. And for some of you, this can work really quickly. This changes the sort of springboard from where your thoughts come from. So if that reorganizes and repatterns itself, the way you're thinking about your situation starts to change. You might have a new thought about what to do about the situation. But also, when you get on the phone to the customer support department for your utility company, your external movie might create an experience. This has happened to me many times, where the customer service person is so nice and so generous and creates a situation for you that just takes the pressure off you. So you just never know. And it really, really makes a difference. I want to just make sure everybody really understands this, that your base energy is everything. It's everything. Not only does it attract different realities, but it changes the way you're thinking and coping with your current situation. Really, really important. Claudine, I'd love you to. That was my rave.
Yeah,
what would you
love
like
that.
to say about that base energy, changing state?
Yeah, it's so true, because we're, like you say, we are all energy, and it's about attracting that positive energy when we're wanting to manifest, even speak to our spirit guides. So it's being clear on exactly what we're wanting and trusting spirit guides are there to help us. The energy you're talking about, I think that's going to lift our self-belief, because often if we're wanting to, we're needing help with financial prosperity, perhaps our self-belief is limited. So I think that sort of sits along with the high vibe energy, high vibrational energy. Energy is believing that we're worthy of our dreams, we're worthy of what we are wanting to ask spirit guide help for. So that all sort of sits together. And then I think it's about also embodying the person that has the thing that we want to manifest. So embodying that energy of who that person is. Who does she look? Who does the financial prosperous person look like? How does she go about her day? How does she think? How do people perceive her? And sort of coming from the low limiting the self-beliefs into that, embodying that person that has what you want. And just trying to, because that's you deep inside. I think that's it's there, because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't be wanting it. So it's just breaking down those walls to create that conduit between you and the thing. So spirit guides will help us. They're there to do their part. It's like a team effort, and then we're in the physical world, so we have to do our part. And then together, I think that's a really powerful connection. But yeah, I think that embodiment is something that's really I've been studying a lot of that lately, and it's stepping into that person that has the thing that you want. What do you think?
OMG, I love it. Yeah. I just completely love it. I just love some of these tools that you bring forward and that you personally work with. And you dive and drill into this and train yourself with them. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what it feels like and what you do around that embodiment? Because I love that.
Yeah, well, a lot of the work that I'm building upon is, as you know, to do with visualizing. So that connects in with the embodying. And I think the embodying is stepping out of a lot of old habits that we've had for life, habits from people around us, environment, and just repeated thoughts on repeat, and just habits. So it's breaking those habits and stepping out of the shell of the old person into the new being, new person of that high vibe energy, living that life that you want to live. So using your visualization, which you can do either in meditation or just finding a quiet space, and just to picture yourself in that life, living that life, being that new version of you. It's not about being anyone else, because it's all about self-love and self-belief still. We are who we are. but we want to be the best version of ourselves. So stepping out of that negative, low vibe and, yeah, just visualizing who is this new person. Because sometimes I think it's like people when they have a dramatic weight loss, for example, some of them can't connect to the new person that has lost all the weight. I've heard a lot of stories often that they'll put the weight back on because they can't sort of step into that, being that person that's lost that weight. Their mind is still in the overweight version of themselves, if that makes sense. So
Totally.
yeah, so it's stepping out of the person that's struggling into the person that's prosperous and living their best life. And it's a daily visualizing this person, getting to know this person really well, and just imagining them out living the life, doing the thing, running the business, living in the house you may want to manifest. What do they do? How do they think? What motivates them? Where do they get their strength from? So yeah, that's a lot of very strong mindset work. I think a lot of it is obviously in the mind. So yeah, if that's
Fabulous.
landing with you.
Oh my goodness, just fabulous, just fabulous. Again, I completely love these tools. Keep going. I just think our audience is really listening to you very, very closely, just as you're describing this.
Yeah.
So how often do you do? Do you do that every day?
Yeah, pretty much every day, and for all sorts of situations. You know, if there's somewhere that you may be nervous about going somewhere, it's for little things, big things, all sorts of situations. If you do have anxiety, I find, which I have suffered with over the years, on and off, like many people, and I think it's really a powerful tool for harnessing that anxiety, because you're stepping into a stronger version of yourself, and the anxiety we're not.
So Claudine, okay, so right there, everybody's flag's gone up. Oh my God, that's me, right?
Yes.
So much going on at the moment on the planet. Everybody's anxious,
Yes.
right? And so you've just described a moment where you can step from one state to another, and you can do it really deliberately through a visualization process. So do you want to just take us through a couple of little steps on the inside in your mind? Like, okay, so 1 minute you go, okay, I recognize I'm being anxious. What do you do then? What would you do then? Or what could someone do then?
So, well, it always starts with the breath. The breath gives you an anchor, distracts you from your anxiety. So, just taking a deep breath, holding it, and then releasing it. So going through a few of those, and then getting clear on what I'm about to do or what I have to do, what is causing me anxiety, what do I want the outcome to be. And
so putting the brakes on that one.
Yeah.
Just really quickly. So you take a breath and you put your attention on your breath, because your attention goes from your anxiety to your breath.
Yes, exactly.
For a start, okay. And then you go, and then you ask yourself a question. What did you just say? And because then once you've asked yourself the question, what do I want? And then you deliberately start imagining.
Yes. Yeah. What am I wanting to achieve or get out of this, or what do I have to do? What is my task to do today? And how do I want to feel about that? How do I want the end of the day to feel? How do I want, what feelings do I want from this? And then I'm stepping into those feelings.
Yes, I was going to say, screeching to a halt here again, because that's just so powerful. Because feelings are everything. It's like we can think it's a logical mind thing, but actually it's the feeling of something that draws it to you. That's what's magnetic. And so you've just quietly put your finger on the key switch, which is feeling. So you are saying to yourself, and you're telling us this is how to do it, which is to decide how you want to feel at the end of the day. how you want to feel at the end of the task, how you want to feel at the end of an accomplishment, how you want to feel after that phone call to the utility company, how you want to, right? And so what you're doing, so what's happening in that moment, Claudine?
Well, it's almost you're talking yourself into stepping into it, stepping out of the anxiety, and you're looking at, well, if I don't do it, nothing's going to change, and I'm still going to be stuck in that anxiety or in that low vibe. So by being proactive, by actioning it, there's going to be change, and then change will lead to the outcome that I'm wanting. So, I think you're visualizing what the task is, what you have to do, visualizing yourself, though, doing it coming from a place of strength. So a powerful person. So I think I've spoken about this before. If there's a character, it may be someone in a movie, it may be a character, it may be someone you know in real life that has those strengths that you admire and inspire. So you're going to almost immerse in those strengths, and you can think, well, what would they do? They wouldn't back off from this. They would step forward. At the moment, we've got the Olympics on, so they're amazing to be inspired by. So, it might sound silly, but you might just want to immerse in one of the Olympians that you admire, and what would they do? Look at what they're doing. So, and that kind of makes you think, my challenge is very easy compared to.
Claudine, just a quick little question about a process on that. Like, immerse yourself in. You said, okay, so if you've got an action figure that just, like for me, Wonder Woman, I really, really enjoy that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, like her sort of innocence and her power at the same time, like those two.
Yes.
Really love that. So, so do you place that person in your imagination in front of you and then you step into them? Is that what you do?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's sort of like a meshing. It just sort of happens at once. And if it's hard at the moment for people to do that, it's something that with, daily practice it becomes easier and easier. So you're sort of just meshing with the energies of that person.
And then you feel yourself walking through the task.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
With that new meshing, of the new energy, and then you walk through the task, and then you decide how you want to feel. So there's a new little decision at the end. You go, at the end, I want to feel like this. So there's the meshing, step one. Step two is walk through the task. Is that right? See yourself walking through the task?
Yeah, you can. I usually start with seeing myself walking through the task, and then I'm putting on the armor of the strength of someone that I know that inspires me, and then it becomes a non-negotiable. I action, and then I action it, and then I move forward, and then it sort of always gets me through tough situations, and you just don't know how much strength you do have inside, and if it takes these little tools to bring it to the surface, I think a lot of it lays dormant within us. And movement's a big thing too. You might want to do some cardio or something before you're about to do something that's a challenge, or that you anxiety cardio, and just moving the body is really good for anxiety as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just embodiment is the big word there. Embodying that person that you are aiming to be, because it's there within you anyway.
Yeah. I just so love that training that you've just given us.
It is training. That's a really good way to look at it. It's not sort of woo-woo. It's very strong mindset.
Yep.
How to switch. Yeah.
Switches. Just using switches.
Clicking a switch. Yeah.
And excuse me, and it's all about moving towards something that you have decided and taken the time to make a decision about what you want. Because if you don't take the time to make a decision about what you want,
that's number one.
Life can be, it's like a leaf on a sort of stagnant pond that just flows around, the eddies in the pond, but there's no moving water, and you don't go anywhere.
So
you don't
true.
travel anywhere.
Yes. And
my spirit guides actually, that's right. And my spirit guides are just telling me that decision making is the key to life. From the early stages of our lives right to the end of our life, decision making is the rudder. And
it's everything, isn't it?
And steers us where we want to go. So decision making, and decision making is an internal, as of course we all know, it's an internal moment. It's not about being at the effect of people or other people's decision making. Our own decision making about ourselves and about our own lives. And it comes from a moment where we stop and notice what decision we want to make. Because if we don't stop and notice what decision we want to make, again, we can be that leaf that just is staying on a stagnant pond, just floating and doesn't go anywhere, going round and round and round in circles.
Yeah.
So taking the time to stop and notice what decision you're making.
And coming back to that why do you want financial prosperity?
The drive.
What are the reasons? Yeah.
The motor in the car.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And that's it. And that gives you direction. As soon as you make that decision, then you've got a clear pathway. So then you can start actioning steps toward it. And then bring in your spirit guides and all your other tools. And then, it's momentum it will create. It's got, it's got nowhere else to go. It's going to come to fruition because you're doing all this work. So that's creating the high vibe energy. Universe is attracted to that high vibe energy, keeping our light bright, as my Instagram is all about keeping our divine light bright. So, the universe is attracted to that light.
Yeah. Oh, it so is. Claudine, it so is. Even from a business point of view, sometimes I think about this and I reflect on this, and that is that successful endeavors, whether it's a financial endeavor, whether it's your dream to just follow your soul joy and your soul purpose, if you're an artist or a singer, someone who's just offering their love through art to the community, because people like that aren't sometimes hard-headed business people at all. They're just wanting to go, look, here's the beauty that I create, and I want to offer it for everybody to enjoy. So if you're one of those sorts of people, so sometimes I do think about this and I reflect on my life as well. And what I feel to say about that is that people in the community notice your dedication, notice your decision to simply deliver and contribute the thing that your soul is connected to, whether it's art.
Yes.
In my case, bringing spirit guide training directly from spirit guide to many of our souls, my soul and my audience's soul, the souls of my audience. That's my dedication, to bring that training through. Your community notices that dedication. And like, for example, some really groovy, smart, tricky software, a software company that a scrappy little startup software company might come across our screen, and sometimes you're Googling, I Google for some kind of a software that can do something, and I go, who's the latest edgy software that's from Silicon Valley, where they've realized there's something missing and they're creating this great little software, and you can tell it's a bunch of young people who are really creative, and the community loves passion and loves creativity, and the worldwide community that's looking for this thing and sort of finds it, they begin to flock to this scrappy little startup company, because this company's been brave enough to show up and to do something that nobody else is doing, but has got the talent to really do it well, right? And the worldwide community that's needing this piece of software just jumps on the bandwagon because they can tell there's passion behind this company. And then way down the track, this company sells its software to a big conglomerate. And I know for me that when that happens, sometimes I feel less interested in that software, because the company that now owns that software is not that interested in that software. It's just one of many acquisitions that it's made. And it's a huge conglomerate. It's got so much money, but it's not really, that passion isn't there behind the customer service or the even understanding of the springboard of the idea of where that software came from. So I'm just saying that our passion, and really honestly, this is for everybody watching, this is just about generating prosperity. Be yourself, be creative, be passionate, be out there, let that passion and creativity be seen. And the most important thing for me when I look at even what I'm doing in the community or other people is longevity, is persistence, is resilience, is the decision to never give up. And it's what you were just saying, actually, Claudine, you know, that's what people notice, and they lean on your dedication to stay with who you are and your creativity and your passion. People need the thing that you've got to give, and they start relying on it. They start relying on the fact that you've made a decision never to go away and to never stop the thing that you're doing, because they love it. They need it. They need that juice. People watch your own persistence and resilience, and they get that same persistence and resilience inside themselves from you. And so I think what I'm saying here is, with all that, the switching of state, and then getting into your own groove, and then being yourself and showing up, and then deciding never to go away and just keep doing it. There's a lot of spiritual healers that get confused as they travel on, because the income's not coming in, and they're going, but this is my sole purpose. How come don't have that financial prosperity that I'm really wanting? And my suggestion is never give up. Never give up.
I agree. And it's sometimes it can come very close, so close to giving up. You come up against so many challenges, and there's so many choices. And that, you know, I've been researching recently, hearing a lot of successful people that have said it's taken them 10 years to build their business, but they never gave up. So don't get disheartened if we all sort of are going through it all together, all the same challenges, but persistence pays off if you're loving what you're doing. Because looking back, when you have started to achieve what you want, it's often that's the best part, looking back and seeing your path to getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, absolutely. So never give up, be persistent, be resilient, trust in yourself, trust in your own dream, no matter what you go through, just keep doing it. The other thing I just want to say is I will give all of you watching here, and this is a thank you for staying with this podcast up until this point, some tools and tips to working with a spirit guide to pull towards you prosperity. And one of the reasons I say that is because your spirit guides have their hands on your movie screen. They also have the hands on the pattern of your thinking, so they can help you get into that resilience, switch states back into hope, back into envisioning. They can actually repattern you on the inside as well, but also they can help you generate opportunities in your external holographic movie. So this is true, and this is real, and you may think it's woo-woo, but because I've been dialoguing with them clearly for 30 years every day and working with them with this, I really understand how it works and that they are real. I always say one day when you pass over, you'll notice that it's real, that they're real, because you're going to have to front up to them and go, this is what I did in my life. And you will have a chat with them, and you will meet up with them again. They are real. They have their hands on your movie screen. So just very quickly, a really good tip and a training moment here, a teaching moment, is to close your eyes and imagine a spirit guide in front of you. Now, the next moment that's really good to do is to meld and mesh with them, like Claudine was saying. One of the reasons I say that is that that's the way the spirit world says hello. They mesh just very gently and then step back out again. It's love. It's heart to heart. It's like a I love you, you love me moment. So you can, if you want to, you can make a very clear stipulation in your logical mind and say, I call upon my spirit guide, and this is the key, of light and love. And like Claudine was saying in that moment, you have to be powerful. You're the one in control. In that moment of saying of light and love, it's got to be that energy of light and love. And you're in your power, and you say, that's what's got to happen. And so switch on your imagination video screen and imagine that a beautiful being of light is standing in front of you. Then do a quick meshing with them, then step back. Now, in this next moment, what for you guys to do is to speak very, very clearly and in specifics to that spirit guide about a situation that needs to be changed. Now, it could be the utility bill. And you're talking to a technician. You're talking to an electrician. So you're talking to someone who understands how to change your inner state, and also how to change some of that quantum matrix. Not some, they understand how to change it. And so when you're talking to a technician and an electrician, you're talking in terms of very clearly saying, the result I want is this. So you have to feel pretty empowered to even notice that the result that you want is this. So what you're declaring and instructing is, after a process, which could be the phone call to the utility company, I want this result. Or by the end of the month, I want this result. Specifics. You can even, if you wish to, give them a particular dollar amount. And my spirit guides are even right now telling me and reminding me that when you give dollar amounts, there's a couple of tricks with that. When you're saying, I want this dollar amount at the end of the month, number one is write it down on a piece of paper, because it pulls it out of your head and into 3D, into the physical dimension by writing it down. And your logic and your unconscious and your spirit guide through your eyes is looking at that dollar amount written out. Maybe it's in your calendar. Maybe it's on your computer screen. Now, the other important thing about the dollar amount is, don't make it $2 million by the end of the month. Make it something within your sort of means, or within what's realistic.
Yes, yeah.
So you could say $500 or $200 or $600, something that actually is a possibility.
Achievable.
And
yeah,
achievable. And don't make it, you don't know how that's going to show up. Okay. However, the spirit world, guess what, everyone? They dive into your database and look at all your connections. By the way, if you actually instruct them and tell them in that moment that you've got these kinds of different connections in your life, they will use that info to trigger opportunities. So if you're a little bit extra kind of cluey about this moment, you could say, look, I've got these networks, and I've got that network, and I've got this network, and I've got this bunch of people, and I've got contacts in here and contacts here. Just let them know, because this spirit guide can see the network of all your contacts. It's like looking through your address book. Okay. And they can feel the connections that you have with other people. It's very, very much like the internet. They can sense where all the phone lines are going and where people that you've connected to. So if you want to describe to them some of these contact networks, that's great. It shortcuts the process for them diving and rummaging around in your database, right? So you can go here,
I like
here.
that one. Yeah, I haven't used that one before.
Yeah. So, and then very, very important, they are telling me right now to say what you were saying, Claudine, which is to instruct the technician, this being, how you want to feel at the end of maybe that week, how you want to feel at the end of the phone conversation, how you want to feel, you know, at the end of some kind of a situation that you want to set up with that spirit guide. The other thing I want to say is that long term, if you want to meet with that spirit guide once a week, if you put it in your calendar on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, I close my eyes every Sunday night and I show up with this spirit guide and I have a conversation about the level of prosperity that I want. If you are a spiritual healer and you do want to bring in those customers and those clients, and you do want to change the way that you're even thinking about yourself as a spiritual healer, and that you want to shift your inner point of view about what you even deliver to your customers, guess what? This technician being is just waiting like a genie to do that for you. And so these kinds of instructions are incredibly important when you're dealing with the worlds of spirit and specifics. And it's not about just giving one instruction and going, oh, well, I've given it and they know. You see, it's a quantum reality. And working in a quantum reality, there's a half-life, like a nuclear half-life. Our intention travels just for a while and then it kind of unconsciously, our unconscious kind of, it numbs down. And so if you show up and front up with your spirit guide and have that deep moment with them, the more often and the more regularly that you show up, that highway between you will grow and grow and grow. But one of the key reasons that you do it is that you reignite your intention, you reignite the instructions, you reignite the command and the instruction to this spirit guide. And they're telling me to say, and this spirit guide is so grateful that you do that because they want to help you. So if you show up, they're fulfilling their mission to help you. And I just suggest everybody to experiment with that and try that. Put it in your calendar, do it, show up, and your life continuum just might take a few steps higher. Your spirit guides are very, very powerful in terms of that holographic continuum that you're living in. So it is about showing up, touching that touch point regularly, and very much like taking it almost from the cue of what you were talking about, Claudine, of taking that moment of showing your spirit guide what you want, showing them your hunger, your soul longing, like saying, look, this is what I want, help me.
Very much so.
Take it and walk with me and let's blow this thing up.
I love that. And
the other thing is that
the work as well.
That's right. The other thing, that's right. We're doing the noticing, the deciding, and the delivering of the instruction. The other thing my spirit guides just wanted me to say, just in that moment when I said, let's blow this thing up, they can take you as fast as you want to go. So if you say to them, I want this thing to happen fast, but be prepared for a ton of concrete to start getting pulled out of you, a ton of hesitation, a ton of not understanding who you really are, a ton of numbness and of fear in the deep subliminals of your being to start getting visited and touched by these technicians, because they want you to heal out of the numbness. They want you to heal out of the fear. Because if you give them permission to do that, they'll start drilling into the concrete. Because this is a quantum world, we're an energetic being, they're an energetic being. They know how the circuitry works in the energy worlds in the matrix. So yeah, just be ready for the speed and hang on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Be open to receive. Be ready to receive.
Open to receive and be ready to receive. And that's another thing that you can invite. They're telling me to say you can invite your spirit guide to help you with, because they'll go into the circuit board and help you be more open to receive and more ready to receive. That's actually quite a specific instruction right there to the technician. Yes. This is something I've really enjoyed working with, by the way, for that last 30 years that I've played with spirit guides in very deep harmony and so intimately with them, is that I see them as these technicians, and that's how I instruct them, because that's what they are. That's what they've taught me that they are. And they've kind of very early on just helped me realize that they're not just asking for a technical instruction, because they just go into the matrix and go, oh, good, she knows that we can do this, so we'll do it for her.
Yes, so you're willing and open for them to come in and start working.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing.
So prosperity, oh my gosh, prosperity is about generosity of your giving, contributing. Prosperity gets attracted to generosity.
Yes.
Just in case we haven't mentioned that.
Yes, that word gratitude again.
Generosity of contribution, to being generous of how you give in your community, how you give to your neighbors, how you give online. People feel that, and they just love it. They just love it. So if I'm coming back to this thing, if you're a healer, if you're an energy healer, just give a lot of free stuff. People will start wanting it. Build communities, build groups, build communities, build a hub, build a vortex. And that's the same thing too with any idea, with any creativity. Build, create a hub, create a community. Yep.
Let people know what you've got to offer, and the right ones will be attracted to your energy.
That's exactly right. And get off the base point.
Yes.
Get off the starting blocks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, number one.
Yeah, get off the starting blocks. Start.
Yeah, move. Dive in.
Yeah. Move. Keep moving. Life, I sometimes say, is very short. And you and I talk about this a lot, Claudine, every day. Every day.
We do.
Yeah, every day nourish your dream. Nourish your dream. Thank you, Claudine. Prosperity.
Thank you.
How to work with spirit guides with prosperity. My goodness, I just love some of the training that you've given us today, Claudine. I just love it.
And you too, Alicia.
My ears are flapping.
I've just brought up some beautiful nuggets, and love chatting with you. Such a great topic.
Such a great topic. So important for everyone, I think. All of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Remember to put your comments down below. Thank you.